Did we go long on the pregame?
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Pro Tour Los Angeles. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Mike Flores, and we're getting ready to watch a great top 8. The first match we're going to watch should be spectacular. Tsuyoshi Fujita, who's on the left of your screen, one of the great minds in the history of Magic. He's got an excellent deck. He's taking on Antoine Rouel. Rouel, one of the best players in the game. I mean, you can say, oh, he's Olivier's brother, oh, he's one of the best French players. He's just plain one of the best players in the game.
He's a great player, and I think he's not just a great theorist. He's the best deck designer in the world right now, and has been for at least 2 years, I think.
There's Antoine Rouel. Level Up is the magazine that his brother Olivier has started with Alexandre Pizet back in France. And Rouel's taking a Psychotog deck into battle. Some have called it a little bit old school, but I mean, Rouel's been playing this deck for a while. I think he understands how to win with it. Fujita playing a red-white beatdown deck. It's basically Boros deck wins. He took the red deck wins that got him 9th place in Columbus, got his teammate Shuhei Nakamura 2nd in Columbus, and he just templated it into adding white. No more Jackal Pup, no more Mog Fanatic, fine. Savannah Lion and
why not play the version that
Isamaru
not
will
necessarily
do.
take damage?
Speaking of, there's Isamaru coming out on turn 1. Oh, and Rouel's got Mental Note. That's a card that...
He flipped Wonder, though.
He did flip Wonder into the graveyard and lost the Psychotog.
Who needs Psychotog?
Sacred Foundry for Isamaru. That's Tsuyoshi Fujita's entire deck. You just saw why it works. The new Ravnica dual land gives him the ability to make the mana work to get these super efficient beatdown creatures out of white and combine them with all the red burn that's always made red deck wins win.
One of the things that I think some people at home might not notice is Tsuyoshi's deck only has 11 mana producing lands.
Yeah.
In the entire deck, 11.
Fetch lands.
So like he's all about fetch lands. It's insane. He's got like 1 plains in a deck that's got 7 offensive 1-drops that are white and 3 offensive 2-drops that are white.
Yeah.
1 plains. And I mean,
the other thing Fujita's deck has is all low drops. All he's got is Pillage and Stone Rain Pillage and Molten Rain sitting at 3 mana, so he's able to get away with just 21 lands. Goes for Goblin Legionnaire on turn 2, and Antoine has the Smother to slow him down.
If Antoine doesn't have Psychotog, this is exactly the game that Fujita wants to be playing, which is test spell, test spell, test spell. Keep Rouel off of card drawing. Don't let him get card advantage. Eke away the damage, and then the turn that Rouel goes to make a proactive play, unload those.
Ooh, no third land for Antoine, right?
Burn spells. Yeah, this is going to be murder. If he draws,
he mental noted again, but couldn't come up with a third land. Oh, and he's got the 1 random artifact land. That's awful for Antoine.
Oh my goodness, this is horrendous.
Kataki's in there against Affinity, and it was really good against Antoine's brother.
If Tsuyoshi draws a land, this game's over because he's got Pillage in his hand as well.
Yeah, there's the Savannah Lion. Antoine's forced to upkeep that 1 artifact land. He's running it just because of the Thirst for Knowledge engine that is in his deck, getting the incidental hate from Kataki. Rouel does come up with land number 3, so that helps, but it's effectively only 2 lands, since Kataki has shut down his artifact land.
I mean, 6.
Rouel falls to 6.
This game's actually over.
So she has got a pair of Lightning Helixes
2 Lightning
in his
Helixes
hand.
and a Pillage. There's no way
It's a Lightning Helix
Rouel can
at
possibly win.
Rouel's head. Yeah, I cannot imagine how Antoine comes out of this. Rouel untaps, draws. He did manage to kill Kataki and play a Psychotog, but
yeah, he's just 3 to the face.
Win? Circular Logic can stop it in theory.
Yeah, but he's going to get 2 in.
He's going to serve. Psychotog eats Savannah Lion.
Look at how crisp and perfect this play is. Rouel has to break the break land if he has a counterspell.
Oh wow,
which would mean that the 2 points of damage will kill him.
So Tsuyoshi Fujita takes game 1. You're absolutely right. He served with those guys to drop Antoine to 1. He wouldn't be able to crack her fetch land. Even if he has the Circular Logic to potentially stop that Lightning Helix, he's at 1 life. He can't break his fetch land. Look how fast he plays too. Clearly, this is Magic at played at the top level. This is Magic at its best. These guys understand their decks. They understand the matchup. They know how to make the decisions. They don't have to figure it out on the fly. They just know how it works.
How do you think they're going to sideboard? I think Ruel has a lot of great sideboard cards. Moloku is strong if he gets there. Ghastly Demise is awesome. Smother is awesome. Dark Blast is awesome.
Yeah, he's got some nice creature removal to bring in, no question.
I
guess you bring in Moloku. You don't think Razormane Masticore makes it?
I think Razormane Masticore is horrendous.
What's it in the sideboard for, though? What matchup did he put it there for?
I don't know, but Sayoshi's got Purge. I can't imagine like Razormane Masticore being relevant.
So it's in there for Sayoshi's deck when it doesn't have Purge in the sideboard?
There's lots of decks in this top 8 that don't have Purge.
Fair.
Like, Purge is definitely coming in to kill Psychotog. Why give him something that makes you discard a card?
Yep.
Like, Sayushi could literally just sit there, take 3 a couple of times, make Ruel have to discard cards so he's in a bad position, Purge, maybe lose a counterfight over Purge, and then unload a handful of Lightning Helixes. Like, that can't be good.
Fair enough. 3 Ghastly Demise, 1 Smother, 2 Dark Blast. Those are clearly all coming in. What does Ruel take out?
Mental Note.
Mental Note doesn't seem like the highest quality card in this deck.
Boomerang can't be great. Maybe it's alright. It can't be great, though.
Yeah, that's 7.
2 mana to bounce, not even kill a creature that costs 1.
Yeah.
Okay. How many cards does he bring in? 3, 4, 6, it looks like. So I think Mental Note and Boomerang, maybe leave 1 Mental Note or Boomerang. Oh, he's bringing in Moloku. So Mental Note and Boomerang come out. That's what I would guess.
And you think Vegeta brings in Purge?
Yes, definitely Purge. I actually think Vegeta will bring in Fledgling Dragon.
Interesting.
The reason is, like...
He doesn't have the mana to cast it consistently.
It's in his deck.
Yeah, but this matchup is much more tempo-based. Like, if he's playing an exhaustion match against the other red deck wins deck, where you're like, trade card for card, trade card for card, trade card for card, you can summon a turn 8 Fledgling Dragon, and it's fine.
Yeah, but the problem is Ruel, 1 Dark Blast, and he's got 2, he can set it up with card drawing. It kills everything in his deck.
Yeah, but that's playing not to lose. Like, Fujita's deck is like, fine, my men are expected to die. They come out, they get 4 damage in,
yeah, but
but
they might not get 4 damage in. Dark Blast costs 1 mana.
He's only got 2 of them. It's how long it's going to take him to find one.
Do you think Blood Moon comes in? Blood Moon seems not bad.
See, I think Blood Moon is better because it's aggressive. Blood Moon, you windmill that on turn 3, and all of a sudden Ruel loses all his options. Like now you're aggressively playing threats rather than trying to defend against answers.
The only thing I don't like about this matchup is Fujita doesn't have Pithing Needle. How great is Pithing Needle against Ruel's deck? He doesn't have Pernicious Deed to kill it.
No, it's pretty good against the card Psychotog.
Like, if Fujita had Pithing Needle, I think this game would go this match would go 3 games.
So you don't take attack
wow.
here. You a guy? Attack here. No. No.
Wow, our spotter on the floor says Tsuyoshi Fujita sideboarded out lands.
What did he side in? Do we know?
He went down to 18 lands, taking out the 2 legendary lands and a mountain. Purges and Fledgling Dragons he brought in?
So I was right about bringing in Fledgling Dragons?
But he took out land?
What a surprise. Interesting.
Wow. That's bizarre.
Exactly how the cards I thought he would be bringing in.
But not Blood Moon.
No Blood Moon.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not going to question Tsuyoshi Fujita, that's for sure. Yeah, you can look at him. He looks happy, confident. Tsuyoshi Fujita, by the way, if he wins this tournament, does take over the lead in the Player of the Year race.
He's my pick to win the tournament, by the way.
Okay.
I think it's Fujita over Moreno in the finals. That's my guess. But if Swicky makes it to the finals, I think he probably takes Tsuyoshi down in 3 games. That's
yeah, the Mind's Desire deck is extremely good against Fujita's deck. And they did, yeah, Star Wars Kid won that matchup yesterday.
Mention the guy who says, is Kenji better than Finkel? I don't think so. I didn't say he was better than Finkel. I said he was better.
Mike is reading the forums. I am reading the forums. For those of you out there listening on the internet are welcome to post, and
I play.
Keep an eye out there when I can. Mike is defending himself. Somebody accused him of saying that Kenji was better than Finkel. No. He didn't say that.
John Finkel, besides having the good judgment to be a good friend of mine, is the greatest player ever to play Magic the Gathering. I don't think Kenji's a better player than John. I think this particular skill that he has, however, is the best I've ever seen. John's overall game, like intangible and intangible
I mean, Kenji
elements.
can be the best player in the game right now.
Oh, he's
not be as good as John.
I think he's the best player in the game right now.
Okay.
But I mean, like John played the game on a level that was just beyond anything I've seen since.
Kenji could get there. I mean, he's only been on tour for basically a year.
Kenji's super awesome.
Yeah.
But you got to kill the man before you can be the god. That's Maybe John will use one of his level 3 bonuses to get in.
On the back table, Ryuichi Arita has managed to imprint Fire Ice onto an Isochron Scepter, so he's looking good against Kenji Samura.
Island opening. Force Spike is super relevant here.
Vegeta pays for Sacred Foundry.
Think there's going to be a Force Spike? I do.
Doink.
No.
Mental Note.
Mental Note. Antoine, why is that in your deck still?
Isamaru resolves.
Hey, he's got so many.
Oh, and now there's a Force Spike in Antoine's hand. He obviously must not have had it on turn 1.
Oh, but it
Demise.
fuels Ghastly Demise, so that's super awesome.
Oh, Mental Note fuels Ghastly Demise, too. It's actually kind of relevant.
Let's see.
Vegeta serves, plays a Savannah Lion.
Ghastly Demise, Molten Rain. And it looks like a land on the far left.
Looks like Mana Leak is going to stop Savannah Lion from coming into play.
So he'll take 2.
Vegeta has a second Isamaru in his hand that he can't play.
But that's actually, it's not bad at all, right? Because Antoine's just going to Ghastly Demise it anyway.
And here, you get to watch a master at work. Vegeta's got a red mana left. He understands what his deck's mission is. Firebolt to your face.
Holy Dave Price.
Got you down to 16 now.
Firebolt's got nothing else to do in this matchup. Was he going to tax a Tog? No.
No, I mean, it stays in. Oh, Kenji Samura has managed to get a hold of a life from the loam, so he's fighting back there. Yep. Ruel's Ghastly Demise does take out Isamaru.
And here comes back up Isamaru, so it's fine. Oh, that's going to be a Force Spike.
He goes for Kataki and gets a Force Spike.
No? Oh, that's awesome. Antoine's pretending that he's going to draw the Force Spike.
Uses an Opt as a response to Kataki.
Oh, thank God. Thank God for Opt. That's also masterful, right?
Vegeta sitting on no third land.
But look at how great
another mental note.
Antoine's sideboard is really good, as we noted in this matchup. He's just gonna go 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1, and eventually, I bet he has the Moloku in.
Go.
The other reason Moloku is good, I think, is because it's not purge-able.
Yep.
True. Lion counterspell, I bet. Yep.
11.
Firebolt again.
Go. 3.
Ruel's getting a little down in there. No relevant spells in hand. I believe there's no relevant spells in hand, correct?
Looks
oh
like
no, Dr. Teeth just came off the top.
Do you consider Psychotog a relevant spell?
Yes, it wasn't in his hand a turn ago. That's got to come down here.
We know that Vegeta's got a Purge, though, right?
Oh, that's true. So I guess he's not going to cast Dr. Teeth. But I bet that Molten Rain is going to go after Watery Grave, and Antoine has no response. Who do you like in this game? 2. 2 to you.
No. Cool.
Land counterspell. Does he have another pillage, do you think? No place.
Antoine plays
6.
I've really got to get the overhead camera on one of these.
Was that Duress? Yes. Oh, here comes Purge. Goodbye. And...
Can I get it on any one of the other 3?
Goblin Legionnaire. Antoine's... Oh, counterspell. Here comes Psychotog. He's got to bring it now. This could be bad for Tsuyoshi if he doesn't.
Yeah, Ruel played this really well. He waited for the Duress. Duress away to Purge before risking that Psychotog.
He has to rip here. That Tog's not lethal yet, I don't think. It's not like it's pretty for Tsuyoshi.
Vegeta's got some math to do.
I mean, Antoine's on 9, like, and there's 2 Firebolts in the graveyard, so...
Vegeta doesn't have enough land, though.
He's Dart in his hand. So that's relative life 7 if he draws a land.
Yep.
Relative life 3. And Antoine's out of cards, more or less. So unless
Vegeta resolves a lightning helix, looks like.
Antoine's down to 6 against Lava Dart, double.
Yeah,
5.
Dark your face.
His preparation in this game is really good. Here comes a land. Here comes a land for Tsuyoshi. No land. Oh,
Factor for
really good cards
in Antoine's hand.
Antoine's hand.
Sweet. Cool.
Another firebolt off the top.
This could be it, though.
Does he make the Tog lethal?
I don't know how many cards in the graveyard, but like, there's. I think that depending on how Tsuyoshi splits, like Antoine's just gonna take whatever pile has the circular logic. So only 10 in the graveyard, so that's only +5. He's just gonna get whatever pile has the circular logic is what he's going to take. I mean, unless it's like a 4-1 split or something. And it is a 4-1 split. Look at how mighty Tsuyoshi Vegeta is. He did the exact thing. Randy, you were saying yesterday how you were impressed by how quickly the great Japanese players are. How quickly they play.
I mean, a lot of players are trying to figure out on the fly what their plays are. What's the right play here? They're not sure. Japanese players seem like they already know. They already tested it. They already figured all this stuff out ahead of time. That's what practice is for.
This game's so close. It could go either way. What does Tsuyoshi want to draw? He wants to draw a land, right? Hopefully weather the turn.
He draws a land, then he can flash back a firebolt and afford to flash back a lava dart in theory.
And he's got 3 firebolts down, so I mean, I just don't know if he can live 3 turns. And that's an island.
5, 6, 7 and a half, 8 and a half.
Time for math.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half.
Oh,
8.
looks like Antoine's going for it.
12, 13.
This game with duress was played expertly.
Absolutely.
Very well. 9 million to you.
Yeah, and there's the game. Antoine Ruel with one swing from a gigantic Psychotog. He waited for the duress. He duressed away the purge. Down came Dr. Teeth, and they're now tied 1 game apiece.
Wow, that was crazy. The key elements of that game were Tsuyoshi's sliding out land, I think.
I think that was bad.
And also, I mean, Antoine plucked the Psychotog. Maybe not exactly right, because he had some time because of how he was playing with the duress. But he went from 0 to 100 in just a couple of turns.
So Becker, no other matches ended? No game 1 has ended anywhere else, and these guys are shuffling up for game number 3. I guess we picked the right match to start on, huh? Not a super tough decision.
Yeah. I hope you are good enough to know he has to go first. For you. I mean.
I get in trouble if I assume.
Ta-da! Ta-da! Let's go!
Doesn't look like either player went back to his sideboard.
Yes. I win the game, or you wins the race. Go!
What do you like in this match now?
I still like Tsuyoshi.
Honestly, no.
He really needed a 3rd land in that last game.
I mean, I don't know if 3rd land would have won him the game, but I think the ability to pin both black sources would have been huge, obviously. It looks really close. I mean, I think Antoine had a really good sequence there at the end where he got the right cards.
I'm saying you.
And
with your deck,
I mean, the game was never really in Fujita's hands, right? Like he was just punishing Antoine, and it looked, like he had his plan going, but it was never one of those, like in game one, it was just obvious Fujita was going to win. It's not wasn't that kind of a game.
In Columbus.
Despite the fact that Fujita had 6 points of burn in his graveyard, like actually 8 points ready, and Antoine was only at 3. I mean, do you think he reconsidered siding out those lands? If he had a 5th land, he probably would have won.
I think so.
So
what matchup do you have?
Going down to 18 land and 11 total mana. Wait, 8 total mana producing land?
No.
The fetch lands produce mana. I wouldn't count that.
Kind of.
Like, they definitely do. He doesn't care about the life loss in this matchup at all.
Yeah. Beating.
Another interesting angle here is Antoine Ruel trying to help his brother win Player of the Year. It's kind of an interesting thing, right? Tsuyoshi Fujita can really get right in the thick of things. He's been in the thick of things all year, and he's already picked up 4 points in Olivier. Kenji also has picked up at least 4 points. Olivier Ruel put up a top 8 here, but 2 of his closest competitors are going to close the gap. It's kind of crazy.
Top 16.
Yeah, he put up a top 16 here, but with 2 close competitors in the top 8. Kenji is now 1 point behind him. Tsuyoshi is picked up 4 points. I think he's 6 back or so.
Let's see the script. No turn 1 play. That's poison.
Wow.
Let's see that grip.
17.
Chris McDaniel on the back table is trying to go off versus an active Grim Lavamancer while on 2 life. So not only does he have to deck his opponent, but he also has to sneak in a deep analysis after the brain freeze. That way his opponent doesn't get the chance to untap. Echoing Truth would also get the job done, but he's struggling to go off in game 1. Anybody can do it, though.
I'm sure he'll do it.
It's probably him.
Who needs to win regular games when you can win nail biters?
Yeah, there was another game he won yesterday where his opponent turned out to have Croson Reclamation randomly in his deck. So he brain freezes him, sees the Croson Reclamation, he's like, uh-oh. He figures out that the play is go off again, mill cards off his own library until he gets a deep analysis into his own graveyard, which he can then flash back to deck his opponent before his opponent can untap and play the Reclamation.
I think this is going to stick, right?
There's that mental note.
Take note, Fujita.
It doesn't seem as good as Force Spike in this matchup. I mean, he does power.
We know Antoine has 4 spikes still. He spiked last game.
I know.
Flippy. Opt. And 4 spike. Kataki. What do we got?
So yeah, Fujita's got a couple Firebolts and a Kataki. He's got like 4 lands in this
Super land draw. But actually, Super land draw is pretty good with multiple Firebolts. So
it's also okay when they're fetch lands because they pull all the other lands out of the deck.
Molten Spike. That's really. That's not really that interesting, I guess. I was about to say it was interesting that Antoine went for the
island.
Yeah, the island, except for not really, because he was going for mental note. No reason to.
So Kataki gets counterspelled. Goblin Legionnaire starts chipping away at Ruel's life total.
He doesn't crack here?
Certainly not the fastest start.
He didn't crack EOT with another land in his hand?
I have seen that from Fujita a couple of times.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't always crack those things. I don't understand why.
I mean, but he's cracking it in upkeep. That's just an error. I mean, unless he gets for, like... Cracking in upkeep's not right.
I don't know why you would crack upkeep rather than EOT.
Yeah, EOT just seems strictly better.
Yeah, okay.
Especially he's managing his life because every point of life is relevant against a Psychotog deck. Some guy.
Okay.
Antoine, interestingly, resolves.
No
Firebolt to the face resolve.
No copies of Hideous Laughter, which is unusual, I think, for this tournament. But I guess he doesn't have a Cunning Wish sideboard, so it's less so. But usually they have Hideous Laughter.
Yeah.
Maybe Fujita did it on purpose to make Antoine think that he screwed up, because I think he wants to hold the Molten Rain for a Watery Grave, so he wasn't planning to cast it anyway. If that's the case, then he's like Terry So double bluffed him.
Double, triple bluff?
Double, triple, screw up, not screw up. Or he could have screwed up. But that seems like kind of too obvious of a screw up, right?
I'm 18.
I definitely think it makes sense to try to make your opponent think you've messed up. Like, if a play is irrelevant to you, then choosing the objectively worst play, I think is fine.
Okay, Antoine just keeps playing Island. Passing the turn. He's just going to get basic swamp to use that smother this turn, I bet.
Legionnaire and
there's
Savannah
basic
Lions
swamp.
go over.
Oh.
What's going on? Pick your poison.
Dome ya.
Oh, he wants to smother the guy that can't be dark blasted.
Take two.
Molten Rain's the swamp.
That guy's countered, I'm sure. Here comes Dr. Teeth, or no? If he has a land, he's probably going to go Teeth with counterspell back up.
His hand doesn't seem to have...
Teeth, here it is. Yoshi got to pull a rabbit.
He's got no counterspell in his hand. What he actually has is Factor Fiction and land.
Yoshi, rabbit
Yoshi
or no?
Fujita does not know that. It's a Molten Rain at the swamp, but the damage has been done.
These Stone Rains are not good enough.
Well, look how smart Antoine Rouel is. He has not gotten a Watery Grave.
No, exactly.
He's had all basic lands the entire game. He's had no Molten Rain targets.
I think these Stone Rains are just not good enough. What do you think?
I mean, they can be very good.
Yeah, but his deck's down to 18 land. They cost 3. They gotta clog him a little bit.
I think he thought he was going to get to deal damage with him.
I think he's got to be rethinking the strategy for the next game, or he might just not make it out of this quarter. Right. Antoine's a pretty... That Lava Mancer is sick, though. There's no black
Psychic
sources.
Dog's attacking. That's always got to be scary.
Yeah, he's gonna do some counts. I'm sure Sayoshi's putting him on Factor Fiction, because you have to.
Bluff master.
We've just been handed a note from Frank Karsten in the audience, pointing out what we did not see, but that Soyoshi Fujita saw, and another master like Frank Karsten saw. If Fujita had sacked that land at end of turn, Antoine could actually respond with Smother on the Legionnaire, and Fujita would not have had a red source to sacrifice it with.
So he's a #1 party?
Absolutely. Good play.
So, I mean, Fujita has to put Ruel on Factor Fiction. He has no choice, right? And then he has to think, what's the worst case scenario? A 3-card Factor Fiction.
Right.
He's not going to split it so that it's lethal. So, he's doing the math. Will that kill him? And I'm sure his answer is, I have to put the lion in front of that thing. Yep. To your doom, Meowser.
Savannah Lion takes one for the team.
Valid
Coliseum. Ruel's at 8. Lava Mancer 6. Firebolt in hand.
Nugya.
Is that the last card from his hand?
Yep. Nugya.
17 to 6.
That's relative life 4. Sushi can do it.
Oh, the Dark Blast.
Oh my.
Maloku.
There's my. This game is
Counterspell
probably
duress,
over.
mental note.
What?
So Fujita.
Oh, it's the dreaded 5-spell fact.
17.
The dreaded 5-spell fact rears its ugly head. 4 and
Counterspell
1?
does seem like the most relevant card.
Does it? I mean, Dark Blast is.
Yeah, but you can't deny him Dark Blast if he wants it.
Yeah, it's just he's not going to give him a 4-1. Even if this, I don't. I'm pretty sure Shioshi should be thinking about how to win game 4 now. I think he has to take out the Stone Rains. I just don't think they do anything. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right, we'll split his Counterspell or no. 4-1. Counterspell or no?
Antoine probably has to keep mental notes in now that I look. His deck only has 23 lands.
No, we finally have a game ending somewhere else. Irvin Tormos has taken game 1 from Billy Moreno. Billy Moreno accidentally lost an Aquamoeba. Switched power toughness. It had 1 point of damage on it, and it just died in the middle of a combat. That wound up being the key play, and Irvin Tormos takes a 1-0 lead in that match.
Wow.
Well, it looks like Ruel's going to take the 4. Does not hit
How
the counter spell.
surprising that he took the 4 that included the Dark Blast.
Is it not
And goodbye.
lethal?
That's gotta be. He has 9 million cards in hand, 10 million cards in graveyard. Nug, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
6. So, you think Moreno, it's like jitters? Because it's a really good matchup for him, so.
Ruel's actually at 4.
Yeah, but, I mean, 17's gotta be a cakewalk from here.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Against no cards in hand?
8, 9, 10,
Looks good.
11, 12,
I
13.
mean, Coliseum is
Oh, that's even more cards,
plus
yeah.
3. Yeah.
Take 9 million.
Yeah, there you go. Antoine Ruel, once again, weathers the early beats, comes over with the lethal Psychotog. Antoine Ruel now up 2-1. Trying to help his brother win Player of the Year and trying to remind people he's a pretty damn good player, too.
He's awfully good with 12 Grand Prix top 8s, 2 prototype hits, right?
Yeah, he's... When he clinched top 8, he was actually, I mean, it was one of the things people seem to have forgotten about him. I think he was glad to get back into the spotlight. I mean, it's been Olivier all year sitting on top of the Player of the Year race, but there was one point, actually, in Columbus where if you looked at pro points over the course of the previous 12 months, they were 1-2.
I remember that.
For most of the day yesterday, they were actually hoping they could both get into this top 8. Both of them, I talked to them both independently, and they thought that the coolest thing they could ever possibly do would be to play each other in the top 8 of a Pro Tour. That was the dream. For 5 years, they've been dreaming one day we could play against each other in the top 8 of a Pro Tour. How cool would that be?
Do you think that ends like a career, like once you do something like this is the pinnacle of Magic the Gathering, defeating my brother on the center stage?
They actually played once in the finals of a Grand Prix. In Porto, they met in the championship match.
Who won?
I believe Antoine won. I'm not positive. I could look it up.
What's
And
your
he goes diving into the internet. This isn't going to help me catch up on the forums. Already pages behind.
That Factor Fiction card is pretty good.
Yeah,
It looks like you took out
Kenji
Thirst for
Samura
Knowledge.
does not play any. No. Yeah, the Thirst for Knowledge engine doesn't seem right to me. Antoine's deck, having those artifact lands in there, which Thirst for Knowledge forces you to do, seems really bad in a field with all these Katakis. It's like not only is Life from the Loam a better draw engine, but it doesn't randomly get hosed by Kataki either.
I think that a lot of different teams prepared for this tournament with different outlooks as to what would be played. To be fair, like the number of decks that showed up was 49. Is that correct?
With Affinity?
No, number of different archetypes.
Oh yeah, 49 different
49 different archetypes. Like, how do you prepare for a field like that?
Well, you find the best new cards. Find ways to break them. Grand Prix, nope. Jose Barbaro won Porto Alegre. It's not the Porto I'm looking for. 2000-2001 season, Antoine Ruel won, Olivier Ruel 2.
Look at that top 8.
David Williams 3,
Michael Pastilnik 4, Ryan Fuller 5. That was a nice.
Rui Mariani in 8.
David Williams. What about this guy?
Yeah, he put up a result. He got second.
He got the hammer invite, and he gave the hammer to everyone on the way. He
earned his own invite to Hawaii.
He was in contention almost the entire tournament.
Yeah, he was sort of on the fringes. He was one of those where like he was playing to miss on tiebreakers.
Round 15, he mulligans to 4 in the pivotal game 3. Where he was like, I win this round, I can win next round. And then he defeated Joe Black, our colleague Osip Lebedovich, in the last round of the tournament. And Osip wanted to draw into double 32s, but Dave was like, sorry, Osip, I need the money. And
he was like, I came to play Magic. This is a good game. He has money. He doesn't have the chance to play Magic as often as he might like.
And Osip's Joblins did the job. And is that a Fledgling Dragon in Tsushi's opening grip?
Was it?
I think it's like a one-land Fledgling Dragon draw.
Sounds like a keeper.
It smells very one-land Fledgling Dragon to me. Looks like 17 to start or no?
I think so. Crack the fetch land, bring the dual land into play untapped. And play a 2-power guy.
And nothing? Oh no, he didn't.
Here, you can shuffle my deck.
Oh,
it's just a Grim Lavamancer.
Oh, just a Grim Lavamancer.
It's not as good as a Savannah Lion or an Isamaru on turn 1.
No, it's not against a deck with Dark Blast, certainly. Come on, Kataki.
Oh, that is turn 1 seed of the Synod, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure Kataki would eat a Force Spike, though. Is the War's Wage there? No.
Nothing. To your face.
Mulligan is there.
So funny how plays like Mountain, Bolt You are so terrible until the best player in the world does them, and then suddenly they're good plays.
This is super interesting. Like, I don't know Antoine's hand, but his board is highly precarious, given
Artifact land, artifact.
Yeah, given the wrong sequence of events. And Fujita, will he red zone? No.
Yeah, he'd rather flashback. He's not going to have time to eat both those to flash back both those firebolts, so he'll just eat them.
I mean, he had a one-land draw and he drew a second land off the top right, so. But he had Lava Dart, so I don't know if it's right to not bring. Take note. Force Spike and ooh, ouch.
And it looks like the Star Wars kid, Chris McDaniel, does manage to pull off that game on the back table.
Dr. Teeth versus Isimaru. Lava Dart U. What's Ruel's life total? I think Olivier might be right. I think this matchup super favors Antoine after boards. All those 1-for-1s.
They do seem pretty good.
I mean, Sushi's just in chump block mode already.
Fledgling Dragon and Lightning Helix sitting in Tsuyoshi Fujita's hand.
Second Tog.
16 to 12. Antoine's still got double-digit life.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Now he's going down to 9, probably.
Counts.
Wow.
Doesn't win. He has to make a draw card too, right? Doesn't make sense.
Is there any way that Tsushi's going to get out of this game, Randy?
Yeah, all of a sudden, people have been saying this is Tsuyoshi
Wow.
Fujita's tournament. This is Tsuyoshi Fujita's deck. He's got the good matchup, and all of a sudden, Antoine Ruel doesn't care. He's not listening to
Antoine has so much room, though. Like, look at how much he has a backup Psychotog.
It's on him. Go.
Lava Dart versus Psychotog doesn't seem like a fair race.
I think Dart maybe shouldn't have been in the deck anymore. Oh, fact.
Wow.
Is this going to be the dreaded? No. Only 3 spells.
Holy Antoine Ruel, Tsuyoshi Fujita just sticks out his... Oh, it looked like he's extending the hand.
Take note.
Holy Antoine Ruel.
How disgusting.
Tsuyoshi Fujita had a hell of a run with a great deck. Boros deck wins, Boros deck doesn't win this time. Antoine Ruel, ladies and gentlemen. 3-1. Down goes Tsuyoshi Fujita.
It was a spanking. Like, the first game was a spanking in favor of Tsuyoshi, and then, like, Tsuyoshi was basically not really in any of the next 3 games.
No,
one of them
was
was
destroyed
close,
in all
but-
3 sideboarded games.
Yeah, it was the 1-for-1s. And again, no Razormane Masticore, yes to Maloku.
So we go to table B. Actually, has B started their second game? Can we move them up to the Euro table?
Wow.
Yeah, Becker, move B. Move Kenji and Ryuji.
That could totally change the way because a control-on-control fight in the top 4 of this could be a 3-hour match or more.
You're not looking forward to Ruel Arita?
I'm gonna get some baked goods, maybe set up shop.
So it's control on control either way, because Arita is playing no stick versus Sumura's Psychotog deck.
That's what I'm saying. Initially, we were thinking that Tsuyoshi was going to be playing the winner of the Arita Sumura matchup, but that totally, considering I picked Tsuyoshi to win the tournament, this changes matters.
It's true. Wow, that match was interesting, fun. 2 great Magic players playing at the top of their games, and Antoine Ruel doesn't care if he didn't find light from the low.
Playing at lightning speed, spanking each other.
Yeah, I think play skill gets underrated sometimes. People think it's all about decks, but if you understand how to play a deck, if you realize how to get maximum value out of your cards, you don't necessarily have to have the most optimal deck list.
It's not even just leading with duress against the deck with Purge.
That was really tight.
It's kind of obvious now that
I would have played the Psychotog. You would have played the Psychotog.
I would have definitely played the Psychotog. I would have definitely been killed.
Yeah, great play. Antoine Ruel is through to the semifinals with some really nice play.
Yeah, and like facing, what was he, like 3 life or something? Facing down triple Firebolt to the graveyard, and he waits? A #1 super awesome play.
Meanwhile, everybody else is through 1 game. Arita's up a game on Kenji Sumura. He was actually in danger of getting decked there, but he managed to use his 1 main deck Brain Freeze to empty Sumura's library. Sumura was the one who got decked. You got Chris McDaniel against Chi Sang Chang. McDaniel up a game. Very similar sort of situation. It was Brain Freeze for the win. Didn't quite get the full story on that first game. I'm sure you'll be able to read about that on our web coverage.
It sounded like both the McDaniel and the Moreno versus Tormo matches were mistakes that even minor mistakes that cost the players game 1.
True.
Where I guess did you mention Moreno with the Aquamoeba flip when it had a point on it?
Right.
And
it sounded like Chi Sang Chang may have messed up the lava dart interaction with Brain Freeze.
2 lava darts were in the graveyard, and he let those resolve.
Let the Brain Freezes resolve?
Let the Brain Freezes resolve before trying to kill Star Wars Kid with the free lava darts, and that gave Star Wars Kid the opening that he needed to, save himself. Whereas if he just every time he got milled, maybe tried it, and there wouldn't have been time.
Is the Beacon decks all getting slaughtered here? Fujita loses. Tormos is up a game.
Tormos is up again, but I still pick Moreno to win the match.
Well, we'll see. It's interesting. So Tsuyoshi Fujita.
I thought it was going to be 3rd time's the charm. I thought he was going to pull a Camille, like 2 times in the finals, 3rd time you're in the top 8. Obviously, you win.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody has gone second, and then not won, right? When they make it back.
David Mills never made it back.
He never made it back, right? And Camille, when he made it back, won.
And I can't even think of anyone else who made 2 finals.
Without winning one.
Bob has 2 finals, but he won 1.
Yeah.
Kai has,
I don't think he ever
5
finished
finals,
second.
but he always won.
Yeah, never finished second. So we're now going to watch the match between Kenji Sumura and Ryuichi Arita. Now, Kenji's got another Psychotog deck, a very different take on the Psychotog archetype from what Antoine Ruel has. He's playing against Ryuichi Arita's Blue-White Control, Isochron, Scepter, no-stick deck.
One thing that I want to mention about Kenji's deck versus Ruel's deck is that, we kind of I don't want to say bashing on Ruel's deck like he missed a lot of mechanics and stuff, but in a classical sense, his deck does a lot of things better than Kenji's deck does. It consistently draws cards, which was the main weakness of
the mental notes give him nice, what is it, deck velocity? Is that the new tech term?
I like to make up words. I would, yes, call it deck velocity. And in his deck, it does have positive interactions. It can flip cards like Deep Analysis and Wonder.
Certainly got more card drawing type cards. Thirst for Knowledge is maybe not as powerful as Gifts Ungiven, but
even little things like Boomerang, like second turn Boomerang on the play and the control mirror is awesome.
Sure. Well, an update on the back table. Shi-Sang Chang has a turn 2 Pyro Static Pillar against Chris McDaniel.
Without additional pressure, I think that the second turn Pyro Static Pillar wins only slightly more than 50% of the games.
Yeah, if the game goes long enough, McDaniel's got a couple of bounce spells.
It. He's at 20 life to play with. So, the main issue in this matchup is that Cheng's deck is fair, and McDaniel's deck is not fair. And when you have fair versus unfair, fair's got to either draw its sideboard cards, which a second turn Pyro Static Pillar is certainly an example of that, and have pressure. Not just draw its sideboard cards, it has to have both. And otherwise, unfair is just like, I'm on 2. So what? Pick that up, let's go. That's probably a bad example. He's probably be on 4 when I make that. But you get the idea. Why don't you click that? Someone in the forum says, OMG, click this. What? I'm sure it's great, whatever it is. OMG, click this.
Sadly, no.
A lot of people in the forums are asking how Tsuyoshi can board out 3 lands inside in a 4-mana creature. And the answer is, dunno. I wouldn't have done it.
No.
Tsuyoshi's 8 million times better than I am, so.
Jurion8886 points out that Chris McDaniel's deck is the only deck in the top 8 that doesn't use any Ravnica cards.
He should probably use some Ravnica cards then.
He's got to have all basic lands for the early harvest.
Yes.
So I think that actually makes him the budget deck. He's the only deck that doesn't have a multiple $100 mana base.
I want to look at this for a second. The budget deck. I'm sure his deck's stacked with rare. Mine's Desire, Gifts Ungiven,
12 Forest, 10 Island.
I just want to look. I'm just going down his spells. He's only got 1 common so far.
Circular Tribe Elder is a common?
Yeah, that's it. These are the next 6 cards are rare, and then uncommon, uncommon, common, fair enough. Yeah, he's probably the budget deck. He's only 75% rare, but.
Billy Moreno on the back table evens it up with a string of Arrogant Worms.
I think that if Billy doesn't make mistakes, he's just going to blow Tormos out. This Tormos' only chance is Violent Eruption. He had to have 2 and Billy make a mistake in order to win the first game.
Antoine Ruel, my deck is good. Not playing alone was a choice. Interesting. Antoine Ruel.
And he's handsome. Look at that smile.
Antoine Ruel coming up to our broadcast window to send a message. He chose not to play Life of the Loam. Interesting.
Oh, but speaking of billion-dollar mana bases, Billy's deck's got to be the unbudget deck. He's got the most expensive cards from every block.
There you go. It's actually interesting. I think a majority of the decks in this top 8 have cards from every legal block.
I can tell you why Tsuyoshi sided out 3 lands.
Why?
He said that they tested last night. Marita, those guys tested for him.
Yeah.
And told him he had no chance of winning in testing. So he just sided out lands to hopefully have more spells. And Ruel played his deck. He had Life Below. He thought it was too slow. He doesn't think it's the best top deck. He thinks he chose this deck because on turn 4.
So Brian David Marshall has actually poked his head into our window and is giving us some messages from that following up on the Ruel-Fujita match. First of all, Antoine Ruel tested Life from the Loam, believes it's too slow, believes it's the wrong way to build a Psychotog deck.
He's going, like we said, old school. 4th turn Psychotog with a blue mana open, Circular Logic, good game. That's his plan.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, it doesn't... I don't know, maybe we're all just getting super jazzed about the new toy. Push the shiny button.
To be fair, Chad Ellis once wrote an article called The Danger of Cool Things.
Yeah. And
there's not much cooler than the Life from the Loam, Gifts Ungiven, Lonely Sandbar engine. I love the cards moving from zone to zone.
Sure.
I love that. That's deck velocity.
The other interesting thing that Brian shared with us from he was covering that match is that Tsuyoshi Fujita sideboarded out land because his teammates stayed up last night testing the matchup for him and informed him he had approximately no chance to win after sideboarding. It's just like, you can't. They're like, sorry, dude, you can't win. Antoine's got Ghastly Demise, Smothered, Dark Blast, you just can't win. And Tsuyoshi like, I guess my only chance is side out land and just have extra spells. If he gets lucky and draws exactly the right number of lands and then it's all spells for the rest of the game, then he's got a good shot.
He is a master. That's a masterful thing to do.
And it looks like his buddies were right, by the way. He got smashed 3 straight after sideboarding.
Ouch. The 1-for-1s are just spectacular. It's actually kind of like... Antoine can almost play it like a Type 2 blue control deck where all you do is tempo for the first few turns, then you play your bomb creature, and the Beat-Down can never get through it. He's even got Maloku like in the Type 2 deck.
Meanwhile, in the match between Kenji Samura and Ryuichi Arita, that looks suspiciously like a morph creature in play on the side of Ryuichi Arita.
It's probably...
Dwarven Blast Miner?
I'm Zombie Cutthroat. You don't have to pay mana. You just flip it. There was a Grand Prix once where Eric Taylor played a Silver Knight against a Goblin deck, and the opponent put down a morph creature, and he said, "This is a zombie cutthroat, so don't attack." And Eric Taylor's like, "Shut up!" And he attacked, and it was a zombie cutthroat, and he ate his Silver Knight, and then he beat Eric.
Funny.
So always listen to your opponents; they're always telling the truth.
Exalted Angel did not survive.
Do you think that's a good strategy? Just like start connecting with Exalted Angel. Ooh, there's
I'm not sure exactly how this plays out. Now, if you're Kenji, don't you go for Gifts Ungiven there? Like,
is he going here?
He waited for end step. He let Arita untap. I don't understand that play.
Leaky.
I mean, Gifts Ungiven seems crucially important in this matchup. It seems like you just tap out main phase. Like, what does Arita do? I guess he plays a no stick.
Doctor Teeth. He can't expect this to resolve too. Ooh. Oh, the Doctor is in.
So we picked a fight with Gifts Ungiven in order to resolve Psychotog.
I think this game is actually going to go to Kenji quite quickly. Arita's response cards are too slow.
What are Arita's answers? He's got Wrath of God.
He's got Wrath of God. I don't even know if it's still in his deck. Game 2.
Factor Fiction gets Circular Logic. Well, Shiseng Chang followed up his Pyrostatic Pillar with a bunch of Chars and Magma Jets, and he's now even that match at 1 apiece.
You gotta love it when the control and control decks just stop playing lands. That's not supposed to happen.
Gifts Ungiven again. It's prohibited.
Kick it up!
Prohibit with the kicker.
Yeah, but just the Tog in play is what's dangerous at this point.
Sure. 13 to 17.
Every turn Arita passes is 1 turn closer to the graveyard for him. Cunning Wish. Leaky.
I'm not sure I fight Cunning Wish in this matchup.
He has to. If he waits on Gifts Ungiven, Kenji can just wait around and then do the Gifts Ungiven at a point where he has no defense.
Interesting.
That's just an insurance policy.
Yeah.
I don't know if Arita actually has Wrath of God still in his deck, so...
I mean, Deed's still good. You get it out there, you preemptively counter the first 7.
Exactly.
May as well run it out there. You can always sack it for 0 if he needs to eat the card with Psychotog. I guess he gave -0.5/-0.5 to the Tog.
Tap.
Ooh, Duress from Samura.
That's like...
Gets prohibited.
Uh-oh.
Leak back.
And... He's probably
Duress.
Freeze, I think. What do you think?
Really? No, you take... Yeah, you totally take Fire Ice.
But the problem is that he's not going to lose to a Fire Ice from this board position with Arita on no counter spells. The only conceivable way that he's going to lose from the position that he sees at this point is a card like Brain Freeze.
No, he loses to Wrath of God.
From this position, there's no Wrath of God in his hand. Kenji is the one who's got a better grip. And he's pumping the Tog. I guess he's just going for the kill, I didn't realize.
Just bleed a little.
Interesting.
Yeah, it seems right.
Oh, he can wish for the cards that he removed. That's a #1 super awesome.
And there's the Wrath off the top.
Chances this resolves? And
Samura hasn't really drawn anything. I mean, he hasn't had any card drawing.
yeah, oxidizing. Oh wow! If that sticks,
That's why you take Fire Ice, because you can't really defend your Psychotog.
the chips
Oh,
go.
he's got a Cunning Wish.
Does he have a counter? Yes, he's got to. He's got logic.
Cunning Wishes for the Circular Logic that he ate with his own Psychotog,
Counter target spell.
and then discards it.
And
Pretty good.
That could be very, very bad for Ryuichi Arita. Time to do some math. Only 1 mana open. He knows that he just drew the Wrath of God. Eats it.
Deed for 0. Looks
Eat-
like it's
eat.
lethal.
Whack, 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 whack.
Yeah, game. Kenji Samura. Kenji Samura evens this match at 1 game apiece.
Actually, do you think that those are how the games are going to go? The games that Arita wins are going to be the, like, 8
Take
million
forever.
turns long, like, attrition war after attrition war, and the games that Kenji wins are going to be like, please, don't kill my Tog, and just, like, eek until it's lethal.
Efro has posted saying, where are all the Battle of Wits decks? As we all know, the Battle has been the best deck in every format it has ever been legal.
How mighty is the mighty Efro, a titan of gamers? He showed up on Friday night with a 260 card deck, won the Last Chance qualifier, and there's a Last Chance qualifier trophy to go right next to his World Series of Poker
World
bracelet.
Series of Poker bracelet.
He has 2 titles now. PTLA 2005 Last Chance qualifier winner and limit hold'em player. Which should you value more? A World Series of Poker bracelet for limit poker, just limit whatever, or a Last Chance qualifier. You probably actually think when you win a Last Chance qualifier, they actually gold plate your house. Is that true?
right?
Yeah,
I don't think that's
true. So. I never won one. So. I heard a rumor. I should ask Star Wars Kid. He has a gold plated dorm room, I think. Pat Sullivan probably has they probably gold plated his entire neighborhood. He's won so many Last Chance qualifiers.
Is this tournament going to turn out to be all about Psychotog?
I sure hope so.
Really?
Yeah. I don't I just think about this. These are all fair decks, other than, Arita's deck is conditionally unfair, and Swicky's deck is definitely unfair. Everyone else is fair. What do you got, Blue Green Madness? Neat. I got some good land though. This land costs $300, but it's just like alchemy. The 3. Here comes a 4/4, and the Tog decks are take note.
Sekalugia is asking in the forums if R&D had a hard time developing Cold Snap. Cold Snap, the most of you have probably heard, is the set we just announced that we're publishing in July. It's the 3rd set of the Ice Age block.
Ice Age block is actually, for a long time, it was one of my favorite formats.
That was a good block constructed.
Granted, I had the foresight of playing with a card that cost black in a room full of people playing with cards that cost green 4.
Sure.
So, that was a good format for me.
The development on that set's actually gone pretty straightforwardly. It's been the design was good, and the development hasn't had any major
But
super
back in the day,
challenges.
the sets were so much less balanced back in the era of Ice Age, and the variance on the cards was enormous. You had cards of the power level of Necropotence, and then you had cards
Sure.
it's just some horrible, red 1 guy for 1/2 or something. But
But we've had a lot of practice in R&D developing
no, I'm
sets the
saying,
modern way. So.
but when you develop a set like Cold Snap the modern way, does it look decidedly different when it comes out in print from the other 2 sets in Ice Age block? Is what I'm asking. They don't even look like they're related other than mechanically.
The flavor is what ties it all together.
Oh, the flavor. That's interesting.
No, the card names are spectacular. That's just just playing with the cards. It just feels like Ice Age.
Should I just go log into Kavada.com and find out? Kavada.com has been updated precious little since you stole him from the civilian ranks. So.
No, looks like Kenji and Ryuichi are about ready to go in game number 3. Update on the back table, it sounds like Irvin Tormos has taken several trips to Paris in game 3. Double mulligan? Triple mulligan?
And Ryuichi Arita with his first mulligan. Who did we say we liked in this? I said Kenji for player,
And Arita for deck.
And at even with Arita on a mulligan on the play, he's conceivably going to have 2 play games left. I think in that situation, it starts falling more and more towards Kenji, despite the fact that at this level, the deck is so important when both players are highly competent.
My spotter on the floor, John Becker, is asking which card face Cold Snap will have.
I hope it's the new one.
It is the new one.
Yeah, stupid old card face. It's a 5.
Wow.
Will there be snow-covered cards?
I cannot comment.
I mean, because the Stone Cold's nuts, or the Stone Cold Snap nuts, I should say, is like gifts ungiven for Island, Snow-Covered Island, Oboro, and Minamo in Type 2.
I have actually played Snow-Covered Island in Vintage in the last month. You stick one into your gift
The
stack.
gifts for it, it's really cool.
It's got a different name.
The first time I ever qualified for the Pro Tour, I summoned Snow-Covered Swamp.
Mm-hmm. I remember that tournament.
And what happened to me? What happened to me in the finals?
You got Ice Quaked and Snow-Covered Swamp Walk.
Yes.
All by my teammate, Eric Lauer.
What a jerk. He was actually, I think he was metagaming against me. It's like, in the finals,
No,
I master beat Snow-Covered
He
Swamp.
took Olirati's Spider deck, and he's like, wow, 2-3 for 3 is really good in this format, because everybody's got Stormbind, and you can't kill a 3 toughness creature, so what do you do? And Pyroclasm. Stormbind and Pyroclasm, really the defining removal in that format, so 2-3 for 3 was really good. You can go the Woolly Spider, Giant Trapdoor Spider route, or you can go the Legions of Lindul's Cohort route.
And by Lindell's Cohort, you mean Necropotence.
Well, it does happen that the cards in black are slightly more powerful than the cards in green.
I wasn't as advanced as Eric at the time, but I did figure out that if I drew 7 more cards than my opponent per game, that his chances of winning were nil. I mean,
Consultant Contagion didn't suck either.
you know what's good? When all the opponents were playing that stupid Gargoyle Jocklehops deck,
Jocklehops, yeah.
and you just let them have it and then go Ritual Dystopia, and they never drew another card. It was so beautiful. You could never lose in that format if you were playing a good deck.
Ryuichi Arita, by the way, has joined Urban Tormos in the land of triple
How
mulliganing.
sick would Oxidize have been there?
No third land?
Kenji to 19. I'm sure he gets like some $25 land here. There it goes. Are those lands? Are some of them more expensive than others? Do you think?
Sure they are.
I'm sure Watery Grave is on the high end.
I think those prices are going to come down. It seems like it's just
Really?
everybody wants them right now, and people haven't opened that many packs of Ravnica. Like especially since the fall QT season is constructed rather than limited. Like once a limited QT round gets cranked up in January, I think will just be a lot more packs that get opened up, a lot more supply on the market.
I've been intentionally, when I win Team Draft, I've been intentionally taking Bob Mahers because I think that people were undervaluing them.
Yeah, Dark Confident is
And I
very
think
powerful
that's
card.
going to be a chase card. And I think, like from the loam, I mean, it's probably like $5 card or something. Like,
I bet Golgari Greyfroll went up a lot after this weekend.
Kenji's already got the life from the loam, so that's not going to resolve.
No, Thirst for Knowledge gets Mana
He's
Leak.
got to keep Ryuchi down, keep the man down.
It's pretty good for a 4-card draw, though. He's gotten all the way up to 4 mana on turn 5.
Yeah, but I mean, like he's equal board, but Kenji's got like 7 more cards in grip.
That's better than not having land.
I mean, that's for certain. Okay, what's Kenji doing here? Let's make a play.
See Pain
Maybe
Face.
go get a $25 land and take 2, or kind of take 3. Yeah, he's gonna play a Deed, I think. Counter back up. There's no way that Arita can fight over this. Yeah, it sticks. It sticks. Oh, because it kills his land,
Oh, he deeded away the artifact land.
and then he countered the
Countered the Thirst for Knowledge. Huh. Do you like that play?
Yeah, it's awesome. Stone Rain you. If Tsuyoshi had made the same play, you'd be like, oh, that's awesome, right? But
I just hadn't thought through it. I didn't see it
Yeah.
coming, so.
that's gotta kill him.
I actually think Kenji's probably a better technical player than Tsuyoshi Fushida.
I think Kenji's the best technical player, so that would be correct. I think that, but Tsuyoshi has an intangible genius that I think no other players in Magic the Gathering have right now. That's what I would say. And I'll just 2-for-1, yeah.
Randomly drawing the 1 life for the loan seems good for Samura.
Oh yeah.
Although Antoine Ruel will tell you this is the wrong way to build the Psychotog deck.
Yeah. Well, and another Deed. Wars.
What? What?
What kind of deck has Wars Wage and Artifact Lands?
How bizarre.
Only one deck in this top 8.
Are those in his main deck?
I think
Or did he sideboard them in? He sideboarded in Kentucky Wars Wage.
Maybe he wants to be a bad white weenie deck. Like, it's not a bad idea against Kenji's deck.
Really?
He doesn't have any draw engines, so if he has any kind of pressure, all Reach has to do is counter the draw engines for 2-2 in play or 2-1 in play, and Kenji's always going to stay behind. I don't think it's a bad idea at all.
What did Arita take out for it?
He might have taken out his combo pieces.
I mean, his deck looks fine. His deck doesn't even have dead cards for this match.
I mean, we thought that his deck was favored, right? So.
Arita continues to fight to Cunning Wishes.
I don't understand. Why is he bothering to fight Cunning Wishes once Life from Dome's already there?
I don't know.
I mean, what can Kenji get? Let's look. Gifts, which is fine. Well, he has some counters. Maybe he's afraid of something like Mana Short. Losing a fight over Mana Short is just lethal, so I'm not sure. And the teeth come down. Mana Leak.
Pay. Why did he counterspell Cunning Wish?
He needed to get the mana tapped.
Yeah, Arita just scoots him up.
I think he needed to get the mana tapped and hope to draw Wrath of God. I think that was what.
So, Kenji Samura wins game 3. Arita had to mulligan down to 4. It wasn't a catastrophe as 4-card hands go, but it was still a 4-card hand, so. Kenji Samura has no
surprising amount of play for how bad his opening was, and the fact that he got stone rained by a Psychotog deck.
True. Huh? Wow, Irvin Tormos also getting a surprising amount of play out of a 4-card hand. He's got a Flame Tongue Kavu in play.
First is Baskerwalla and Teeth, though.
Yeah, that's
we saw how the red creatures were against Teeth in the other matchup.
Didn't say he was winning, just said he was putting up a good fight.
Fair enough. Red Deck Wins is an awesome deck to mulligan to 4 with, because your opponent always wants to shoot himself when he loses. You're like, how did you win? Like, I domed you a couple times. My guys got in for 2. Wow, so in the other table, Squicky is down to 3 life. He's got all his land destroyed. 3 lands, sorry, and but he does have Heartbeat of Spring in play, so.
I'm going to try to set up our sideline reporter, John Becker, to give you an update on what's going on in the back matches while Kenji Samura and Ryuichi Arita shuffle up for game number 4. So, John, what's going on down there?
Hey, how you doing, guys? Let's see, we got Suki sitting on the back table. He's been hit, I think, by 4 land destruction spells this game, and just got his Heartbeat disenchanted. He's gifting in response to try to find some answers. On the back table, Tony had 3 mulligans, so he started with only 4 cards, but the red deck can... Sorry about that, guys. On the back table, Tormos had triple mulligans, but that red deck can get some play out of it. It looked like he fought for a while with a couple of Flame Tongue Kavus, but finally a big Dr. Teeth, I think, just ran him over.
John, what kind of life is Star Wars Kid on?
Hold on, I'll find out in 1 second.
Because, I mean, even if he's gotten stone rained a lot, if he's not under pressure, I don't think...
Yeah, that's the thing. She's saying Chang, he's brought on the disruption, but if he's not following...
13 apiece.
Yeah, he's still got 13 left.
And he's resolving gifts
13
ungiven?
apiece.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a problem.
Can't hear anything.
Yeah, there's no pyrostatic pillar in sight.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's like, if you resolve gifts ungiven, it doesn't matter if you got stone rained 3 times, you just put down Heartbeat of Spring and combo them out.
I'm sure he's going to try to do that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, great.
Sorry,
I'm not mana screwed.
Keep us updated.
Sorry, I don't have anything more exciting to tell you right now. I'll back to you in a few minutes.
So Burning Lotus in the forum seems to agree with me. It's like, why is the deck called No Stick?
Nick West called it No Stick. When you make the deck, you get to pick what it's called. And in
how it
any
works?
case, it does make sense. Because he says no, you don't get a turn. His stick says no. I mean, I know this is an operational thing. I think Ryuichi was not shuffling very well in the last game. And when you're mulligan prone, like he was in that game, you can't lose your poise in the sense that you have to take your time and shuffle well. Because a bad shuffle, when your lands are all stuck together already, then that's not going to help you. What do you think?
I think No Stick's a terrible name. It doesn't even make sense. I'm with Snickar. No Stick. It sounds like the deck has no scepters in it. I honestly thought that the first 7 times I saw the name.
It's the no stick.
But it should have a dash or something. It would be called the no stick. It's not. It's called no stick. It's like a deck without sticks.
Nick couldn't afford the. Okay? At the time, he was like an aspiring Pro Tour player.
One pair of ripped jeans.
Yeah, one pair of ripped jeans. He's like, I wish I could put the in this deck name. But no, just no stick.
So Duress gets through. Kenji Samuro uses Force Spike to defend it from a Prohibit.
And what will die?
Prohibit's kind of an interesting choice from Ryuichi Arita. What do you think of that?
Well, it's interesting. It can go onto Isochron Scepter.
True. Which
is something that a lot of the other options you can play for counterspells that they can't. Like, you know, what counterspells are you going to play? Other ones in this top 8 are like Circular Logic. You can't put that there. Would you want to play with a card like Memory Lapse, True Decision? In a format of all fast cards, it's basically a hard counter.
Yeah,
and he can kick it up to counter 4s anyway.
No third land for Ryuichi Arita, no mana leak now.
Every time you miss a land drop in Control, it's just absolutely brutal.
Here's Cunning Wish.
I mean, he's just using that to bait out all of his counterspells so that Dr. Teeth gets through.
Why? Let the Cunning Wish resolve. I
this. I don't know. See, there it is. See, exactly what I said. Now there's Dr.
Yes.
He needs 4 land to kill Dr. Teeth. He has to draw a land and imprint to play his Wrath of God, and then he's got, nothing left? That's exactly the position Kenji wants him to be in. And if he doesn't kill Dr. Teeth, he's just going to lose. Yep, he has to also draw a land. Morph.
Chrome Mox, imprinting Cunning Wish for an Exalted Angel.
I don't even know if that's going to stick. Kenji's probably got like a what do you call it? Some kind of kill card, isn't it? No? He has Gifts Ungiven, though.
Oxidizing the Chrome Mox. That's painful.
Good game.
So you think Kenji Samuro looking good to advance to the semifinals and take the lead in the Player of the Year race?
What's interesting is we called Kenji on player and Arita on deck, and Arita, as a player, is not operating in the way that we thought you had to win this matchup.
True.
So.
And now Gifts is going to resolve.
And here comes Life from the Loam. He's probably just going to go for Life from the Loam, land. And there it is. Give him the Life from the Loam. So he can only. Can he still 3 for 1 here? Did he break a Bloodstained Mire or something?
Then it comes off the top and into play for Ryuichi Arita, but
the fact that Arita has to main phase 4 mana just to stay in the game is absolutely horrendous. Alright, time to start drawing cards. The power of Life from the Loam in this matchup just cannot be overstated. Like
Anton Ruel thinks it can.
Control on Control is all about who doesn't miss their land drops.
I hear you. The card looks good to me. The synergy looks spectacular.
Absolutely spectacular. He's going to draw 3 more cards after resolving with Gifts Ungiven. Just on this, and one of those cards is just going to dredge Life from the Loam.
Oh, wow. Arita trying to slow the bleeding. Points a Prohibit at that Life from the Loam.
That's worth fighting a counter war over, I think. Arita's best case scenario is actually to tap out and Wrath the Tog in the short term, so I think it's worth fighting over.
Sure.
Let him try to fight that battle. He's not going to beat you long term. Just keep getting the 2 for 1s, 3 for 1s. He might have to block.
No, he's one land away from flipping it.
Yeah, but Kenji just picked up 3 cards.
I don't think it's lethal yet.
I don't think he's going to try to flip it. I mean, that's just... maybe he will. He's just kind of asking for it against a card like Putrefy, though.
What?
Yeah. Kenji's going to dredge.
So speaking of the Player of the Year race, I've actually just been handed the current standings. It's kind of interesting. Kenji Samura, according to this, actually is already in the lead in the Player of the Year race. He has 68 points to Olivier Ruel's 67.
There was the first dredge.
Masashi Oiso, 5 points behind Olivier with 62. Tsuyoshi Fujita's 12 here, give him 58. He's now tied with Gadiel for 4th in the race. Within sight, but...
I mean, Nassif stole it last year against the 2-time Pro Tour champion.
True. Meanwhile, while we're handing out congratulations, Olivier Ruel has re-upped as a level 6 mage for all of next year.
Really?
And
do you think that's even exciting for Olivier? He's like for the longest time, like, I'm a level 6 mage.
And Kenji Samura is level 6, even if he loses this match. Which doesn't look all that likely.
And I think Kenji's trying to go for lethal here.
Is that the match?
That's a lot of cards.
Looks like a lot of cards. And Kenji Samura wins. Kenji Samura advances to the semifinals. We'll have the Loam versus no Loam Psychotog match battling it out in the semifinals. It'll be Antoine Ruel versus Kenji Samura. Antoine trying to put himself back on center stage. Antoine trying to help his brother win Player of the Year. But Kenji Samura has the lead in that Player of the Year race, and he'd like to actually put a title up. He's got a 2nd place. He's got a top 4 teams. Hasn't actually won one of these Pro Tours yet. It's his 3rd top 8 of the season. He seems like he's on a roll. He seems like he's hot. He understands his deck. We'll see. Who's your pick in that semifinal?
I like Kenji.
You like Kenji?
Yeah, I mean, like, Antoine's deck seems very solid in fundamentals, as we said before. But if Kenji ever gets access to that Life from the Loam, the amount of card drawing that he has, the amount of test spells that he can do at low mana is just so great. Let's look at the problem cards. Both decks have got 4 Psychotogs. The key cards are 4 Psychotogs, right?
Sure.
Kenji can do stupid stuff. He has a 1 random main deck Oxidize. Oxidize your Vault of Whispers is awfully good. 1 mana. What do you think about that? Oxidize your Vault of Whispers.
Kenji Samura's deck still has the same flaws you pointed out before.
Yeah.
Right?
Didn't work, though, where our strategy was.
Not well. Arita wasn't trying to play it our way. I don't know. Antoine Ruel might.
So you think Antoine, then? I was wrong on Antoine versus Tsuyoshi. So.
It's true.
Who is actually Antoine? Maybe fundamentals are more important in the mirror. He has better and more consistent card drawing. He has Wonder.
How's the
They both have
sideboarding
Wonder.
look?
I mean, Kenji's not going to sideboard very much, so.
Well, Antoine's sideboard really helped him in the last matchup, but it doesn't. He's got a skeletal
Skeletal
scry.
Shrine's cool. Maloku's great, I'm sure.
Sure.
You just win an attrition war and get Maloku. Smother's actually very good.
And Kenji's he's got that Wish sideboard. It helped him through the Swiss, but doesn't really help him here.
Duress will come in.
Okay. Well, Antoine's got 4 Duresses to Kenji's 3.
Maybe it actually looks like Antoine. Then.
Antoine's sideboard is clearly better. Antoine's main deck seems like it might be better.
Yeah, I think you can.
He's got more card drawing.
Antoine on deck. Definitely Antoine on deck. If Antoine also has better strategy, then
I mean, I think Kenji Samura. I buy your argument that Kenji might be the best player in the game right now, but Antoine is not far behind if he's behind.
When you say someone's the best player in the game, you don't necessarily mean that they're dusting everyone else. Like,
sure.
There still has to be a best. Like when John was the best player in the game, he wasn't that far ahead of Bob. You know, and Kai was right there.
Right.
So